Howdy everybody, it's Brian, Indiana Creek Gold, getting ready to do another short run, probably a couple hours maybe, depending on how long the back holds out. We're going to work over toward the bank. We were getting into some chunky gold, found the crack, was working down into the hole when we called it quits last time. I was losing suction, and I'm 99% sure this is the problem right here. The clamp, these are like muffler clamp style clamps that I got at the local hardware store, was maybe an eighth, 3/16 wider than the hose itself. So I wrapped this Gorilla tape on there and cranked her down, and it has pretty much slid back off of that tape and it just sitting back here on the hose. I was losing suction, but I always hook this, that's the tape's over here to keep these bolts from scratching me up. I need some caps put on there, some nuts, some acorn nut type deals to put on there, but not the best choice for clamps, but that's what I had to work with. But I could bend the hose, this hooked right where the nozzle is. I could bend this up, put pressure on it, move it around, and make it work really good or not work at all. So I'm assuming this is the issue. So what we're going to do is take this tape off and move that back up there where it's supposed to be, maybe, and crank her back down. I've got some waterproof electrical tape, but I don't have a lot of it. So I'm going to see what I can do with this here, and we'll start dragging stuff out. Hog's still giving me hell. Repair complete. Clamps back up here on the hose barb where it's supposed to be. That had wore through that tape. I'm going to cut this stuff off and make sure we hadn't wore through the hose there. I don't think we have. I think we're good, but I just want to make sure. But put some tape around these so they don't scratch me up. We're ready to roll. Alright. Took a little break. Got smoke. Back can't handle too much of that at a time. I ran about 20 minutes or so. If you can tell, that right there is raised up, I don't know, 1.5 inches or so, and there's a low spot right there where those rocks are at, right in there. It's been cleaned out. That stuff that's fell down in there, that crack led down to the low spot there. It seemed like bedrock is going back up, like right in here. So I think we are going to, I'd sort of made a hook around here back toward the box because that I was following that crack that went down and ended up in that hole there, that low spot. So I'm going to clear this off, and my hose is doing some weird thing it's rolled, and I've had this happen before. I need to sort of flipped it before I put it up there, but we're going to sort of pull everything back and work up from this low spot here and work this out right here and sort of angle over this way and see what happens. The plug earlier, that wire I put on there helps immensely, but it doesn't stop it completely. It was just a big flat wide rock. That was the width of the nozzle. So I mean, I could put it like a cross in there, a little X with the wires, but it just, I mean, the more you do that, the more crap you got laying on your bedrock. after you clean it off. So it's definitely helping with me not having to jump up and get plugs all the time. So, but yeah, it still get plugged up. But 95% of the plugs are right at the end of the nozzle, and I just pluck them off with my hand. So. I have that. I took my big rock off there. I think the way that hose is on there, today everything's turning right back in there the way it should. So switch hands here, and I shut my phone off usually when I do this. I like cleaning surface material off, and then working down to the bedrock that way. That way you don't have horrendous amounts of stuff falling in there all the time. See, and another thing, when it's plugged up, I can just pick this thing up. Nice little whirlpool going on there. But if there's stuff stuck in there, I can pull it up out of the water where there's no suction on it, and rocks fall right out of there. Like that. I hold on to the end of the dredge. I pretty much keep it from being plugged up. Hey, I'm gonna pause this. Old Ron F's calling me. Okay, we have returned. We got another nice big section of bedrock cleaned off here. Conversation with the brother, Ron Ebb, go check him out. The guy that came up with the idea for the Indiana Boys Prospecting Club. Jim Richard, I do believe he's going to be here Sunday. So, we'll go stream some. Might even work up around the bridge, but I think we'll probably work to the big cobble downstream from the bridge. So, don't get too greedy. But yeah, this bedrock has character, like it did last time. Like that. Alright, well I'm gonna go put my phone up and we'll get back to it. Alright, we are pretty much cleaned up. I did the exact freaking opposite of what I said I was going to do. Y'all can see I was up there in the corner working, and I actually worked. I was like right in there and was working back in that corner and found a crack over here. So I swear that I didn't realize where I was at. I was just chucking rocks out of the end of the nozzle. There's a low spot over there. There's a low spot, sort of a hole right there. And then there was like as wide as my finger and probably about as deep as my finger crack that led this way over here. And then you got this that's raised up probably 2 inches. There's a hole right there by it where the crack ran down through here into that. There's all kind of material. I had this cleaned off and then the top fell in, caved in. But right here, that I broke probably 3-4 inches of material off right there where that white seam was at. A big couple chunks broke out of there, and there's material underneath there. And I got the pick and cleaned up under there. There's like ledges there. So I followed the crack down to these low spots and worked around there. And I was working around this and realized that I was almost back to the box. So, and working back here totally where I didn't want to, but I got to follow that crack and then got into this stuff and then realized that my back was killing me. Ron and Richard's coming down Sunday. So this is Friday. I'll limp around tomorrow, lay around, back hurting and hips hurting, and then they can do most of the work there Sunday. So it's nice if you got people to switch off every 15 minutes or so. You can just eat it up then. You got people watching the hoses, you know. But we have a lot less material than we did last time. I sort of spread that out. Because I dropped the end of the box down this time. So, new stickers are in. I am going to do a good shout out video to the fellow that made these. Y'all need to get over there. Great stuff. I'm going to be getting some more stuff off of him for sure. Typical USPS BS. It came to Indiana 3 times, these stickers did, before I got them. It kept going here, it'd get to Indy, it'd go back to Missouri, it'd go back to Oklahoma. It did that 3 times. So, yeah. But, like I said, we moved quite a bit of material. Hopefully there's some gold in there. It's getting late. Megan's off work. She just called me. I got reception down here today. That's weird. That don't ever happen. But she's picking up a few things at the store. So, yeah, let's get this cleaned out. We'll do a wash back. I had to dump the water out. I lost some gold. But my bucket that I've just been throwing, every time I've ran down here, I had washed back, looked at the gold, and I've thrown them in there. Okay, this would be, I think, number 6. Came down here, had 10 million mosquito larvae in there. So I dumped it out, and it was all compacted in there because it's mostly garnet sands, black sands. And I had it tipped out, and most of the water had gone out of it, and like a big glob of material fell out. You know, fell off that was stuck to the side when I had it tipped over, and lost a little bit. I scooped up what I could. And another revelation I just had. Y'all that's got these thing right here, those snap on the bottom. Those seats, Richard got me that thing last year. But I just had a bucket upside down and grabbed the seat just to cushion my ass, and it snaps right down on there. I mean, not like a lid like it does on the top, but yeah. Cool. I didn't know that, and from the coon prints, it looks like the coons have been liking it. So, I get the pump out of the water. I hate this part. It kills me. And raise the end of the box up. And we'll have a look see what's in the big Gold Hog mat. Not near as much material as was last time. There was 4 times material as what should have been. But look at that angle today. Baby's dropping down instead of flat. Tends to move a little more material that way. Alright, I want to show you guys how I drag out. I should have set the camera up and showed you the whole pulling it out and rinsing it out, cleaning the mat. But I want to show you how I put the tub up there when I pull this big 8-foot Gold Hog mat out of there. I mean, 8 foot's a lot of mat to contend with. So we use that Richard's sled that he bought there, I think last year. I've got the big green one. This one's actually watertight. Mine's wore out. But what I do, I raise the legs up, and hopefully I'll remember to put them down when we run Sunday. But I pull these through sort of along the lines of, you know, boat cleat. I just use friction and tension. But I pull these, rope comes out the front. This is sloped, the front of this right here. And it's basically pretty even with that. But I pull this up through here. That little bit crack right there, I'll pull the sled up tight and snug that up against there and wrap it a couple times. And keeps it right up against there. I'm not losing material. And it seems to work fine and dandy. Alright, I get rid of some of this water and get this stuff in a pan. Alright. Everything covered up that needs to be. I made the mistake of putting a tarp over everything, over all this stuff, and had the pump over there a week or so ago when it was going to rain, and it did. Man, I took that tarp off of there. There were 10 million ants nested inside my pans. I had to throw them all in the creek and rinse them off. And then there was all kind of other bugs, spiders, everything that had taken residence under that tarp. So no more tarp and stuff, for sure. So A lot of heavies in here, it seems. I see a nail already. Oh, this is not going to work very well. Let me set this right on top of this. It's got to bend over a lot farther. I'm probably losing all cold, but that'll help a little bit. Oh yeah, I can feel walk tomorrow. Something roll around in there. Hit a rock or a chunk of lead or iron or giant nugget. Big old rock right there. It wasn't really heavy, right? I need to be watching more so I find any more giant garnets. Down last time. I just seen a big one go washing out. Get this stuff hooked out of here. Bunch of iron. Iron. That's maybe lead. A chunk of iron. Heavy ass rock. Yeah, I just think I just seen a piece of gold. Alright, let's reset here. Alright, I need to put this down. I'll be back. Alright, I did the tap, and look what's starting to stick through there. Alright, let me get this pan down. Looks like we might have a good pile of gold here. Alright, That's all the pieces of lead and iron that I fished out of there. So let's try to get rid of that. See that gold sticking through on that side already. And washing down already. So I'm just gonna flip the pan up back and forth here just on this right side. Obviously, however I tapped it, it moved all the gold over to that side. So I'm just going to do the back and forth thing here until I see gold. I'm getting rid of a lot of material here. See a little flyer gold. That's alright. I do appreciate you following along on these over the hill dredging adventures. Starting to peek through. Oh yeah, alright, I need two-handed. Alright. Got another chunky little piece in there. A little wiry looking piece in there. All kinds of small stuff. Another little chunky piece right there. Got a little character to it. Oh wow. Yep, another hour and a half, 2 hour run maybe on that gold. Thanks for watching.